Hello everyone, it's me, Professor Aaron Albert, here again with Lesson 33. Let's learn some econ. So today we're going to start talking about what happens when you have more firms in the market than one, but less firms in the market than infinity. We're going to start by talking about a cartel. We'll talk about why cartels are particularly rare, but they are cool if you can pull it off. And then we'll talk about Bertrand competition and what that means regarding prices and output. All right, so the way we think about monopolies versus oligopolies versus perfect competition, all these different market structures differ importantly according to three things, three interrelated things. First, we wonder, well, how many firms are there in the market? Are there one? Are there a couple? Are there many? Second, how easy is it for firms to enter and exit the market? If there's one firm in the market, and it's impossible for other firms to enter the market, guess what? You got a monopoly. If it's a bunch of firms in the market, and firms can easily enter and exit, that's perfect competition. Next is the ability for firms to differentiate their product from the rivals. If you have a product that is completely different from everybody else's product, and you're the only one making it, you got a monopoly. If you have a product that's just like everybody else's product, you're probably in a competitive market. So the next thing we want to talk about, now that we've figured out, we know all there is to know about monopolies and perfectly competitive markets, well, what if we have more than one firm, but less than many firms? In that case, we call it an oligopoly. Oligopolies are defined by a case in which only a small group of firms exist. Each individual firm is big enough to influence price, right? With monopolies, firms determine price. With perfectly competitive firms just receive the price. They have no control over anything. With oligopoly, firms influence the price. They don't solely determine it. And also, there are substantial barriers to entry, either legal or financial. So, first task today, spend a moment and see if you can think up an industry in which there's a couple of firms competing over the market, right? Not just one, but also not a whole pile of firms. Let me know what you came up with. So, I'm a huge video game nerd, and to me, I think all throughout my life, the video game console market has been oligopolized. It's always been three firms. They haven't always been the same three firms, but it's always been three firms, right? Long ago, it used to be Nintendo, Sega, Atari. Then Sega stopped making consoles, and Microsoft started making consoles. For the last long while, it's been Nintendo versus Microsoft versus Sony. And that's it. Obviously, they each exert influence, right? If Nintendo set their price high, the other firms would get more people to buy their consoles. But at the same time, if they set it too high, people will stop buying their stuff. And when they make bad products, people stop buying their stuff. So you have firms that are competing, but it's not a whole pile of firms, right? There's very few firms making video game consoles. I'm sure that you can think up a bunch of other examples. Oligopolies are not that uncommon, but they're still not super common, right? I might think that FedEx and UPS could be an oligopoly for the movement of non-mail packages, like big things, not letters. We have this graph from the book. If you're ever confused about what the differences are between the four different types of markets, pull up the graph, give it a gander. All right. So there are different things that can happen once you've determined a market is typified by oligopoly. Today we're going to talk about some of them. Next time and the time after that we'll finish the other. So the easiest thing to think about, since it'll be very familiar to us in practice, but one of the hardest to implement is what is called a cartel. A cartel is what results if you have a small group of firms and they collude. They say, all right guys, we're going to set this to be our price. Here's the resulting quantity. We're going to make a ton of money. Other things that can happen, rather than cartels where they cooperate, you have a situation where firms compete. Now, if firms compete, they can either compete over prices, if they compete over prices, that results in Bertrand competition. And if they compete over quantity competition, well, that results in either Nash-Cournot if they go simultaneously or Stackelberg if they go sequentially. We'll talk about Nash-Cournot next time, Stackelberg the time after that. But today we're going to talk about cartels and Bertrand. All right, so another little warm-up break practice exercise. Take a second and see if you can think of a situation in which a market is typified by cartels. That is, you have a small number of firms, and they work together in order to ensure that the resulting outcome is good for the firm. Hopefully, it was harder to think up cartels than it was to think up other market structure. The reason is it's incredibly hard to do because it's illegal. Cartels I can think of, there's like the Mexican drug cartels, where they don't care if forming a cartel is illegal because their entire industry is illegal. Also, people have said that OPEC is a cartel. OPEC's a cartel when it works, right? OPEC is designed so that the oil-producing countries agree on quantities of output to keep prices very high. The two reasons cartels are uncommon: first off, they're illegal. Second off, they're really hard to enforce. Even if we made cartels perfectly legal, it's really hard for the cartels to prevent each other from overproducing. We will see in a moment that with a cartel, each producer benefits from increasing production, which results in cutting the price. The problem is, if they each respond by increasing their price, well, you no longer have a cartel. You have two firms competing with each other. And moreover, it's really hard to punish the other firm if they overproduce. If you punish the firm for overproducing, you're going to end up causing the price to go down really far, and that'll hurt your bottom line a lot. Moreover, it can be really hard to figure out what the other person's doing, right? You might not know exactly how much they're producing, so you notice the price going down, and you don't know why. Moral of the story is, cartels are hard even if they are legal. So, let's assume for a moment that firms agree to form a cartel. And let's say they want to decide that they're going to set some price and quantity, and then they're just going to split the profits. If someone is going to set a price and quantity amount such that they maximize their profits, what price and quantity would they set? Well, we've already seen that the monopolist price and quantity is the best. So if you got a cartel, it's two players, and they just want to set the price and quantity such that they maximize the sum of their profits, they should just produce as monopolists and then just cut the profits in half. Say, hey, you produce 5 units, I'll produce 5 units. We both go home with well-lined pockets. So let's see how this works in math. Let's let the market's demand be given by Q equals 15 minus P, let the marginal cost equal 3, and say there's two firms. Take a minute and find the monopolist's price and quantity for me. Then, tell me what the profit is for each firm if they each take half the market. Well, hopefully you remember how to do monopolists, and they're not very hard. We've got inverse demand given by P equals 15 minus 3Q. Marginal cost is 3. Take the inverse demand, multiply it times Q, take derivative, get marginal revenue. Set marginal revenue equal marginal cost. You'll note that Q equals 6, P equals 9. If we do that, each firm makes 3 units, and they make 27 minus 9 equals 18 profits. Pretty simple. Question is, though, what if firm 1 cheats? Firm 2 is going to make half of 6, i.e. 3 units, like they agreed to, but let's let firm 1 instead make 4 units. Rework the math. What is the new resulting price? How much profit does firm 1 and firm 2 make? Well, you'll note that firm 1 making 4 units means in total they make 7 units, means the price is now 8. And you'll note that if firm 1 makes 8 units at $4 each, they have a certain profit. However, firm 2 makes a lot less profit than they did before. So as long as only firm 1 cheats, that's good for firm 1. However, if firm 2 notices that firm 1's cheating, what's firm 2 going to do? Well, they're probably going to produce. So let's say firm 2 makes 4 units. Well, then the price goes down even further and firm 1's profits go down. And then firm 1's going to say, oh, you're making 4 units, I'm going to make a bunch of units. Well, you can see here that the incentive to deviate means that it's going to be very hard for them to rest upon and stop when each firm makes 3 and they have nice high profits, right? They're each going to want to make more stuff. When they make more stuff, the price goes down, which is bad for them collectively. Another way they could compete is what's called Bertrand competition. Here, they're no longer agreeing to split the market. Here, there's 2 people, they're making identical goods, and consumers only care about the price. They're just going to buy whoever makes it cheapest. Let's let the demand be given by 15 minus P, let marginal cost be 1, and let's assume that we have Bertrand competition, so the lowest priced firm sells all units. The other firm doesn't sell anything. Also, we'll assume, just because we have to cover this case, that if the 2 firms match prices, they're each going to split the market in half. Although, we'll see in a minute, this shouldn't happen. All right, so let's say a firm 1 sets their price to 5, firm 2 sets their price to 4. Take a minute, tell me how many units each firm sells, and how much profit does each firm make. Well, firm 1 sets the price to 5, firm 2 sets the price to 4. Who are people going to buy from? They're only going to buy from firm 2. So firm 1 is going to have Q equals 0 and pi equals 0. Firm 2 is going to sell 4 units. I mean, they're going to sell units for $4. That means they're going to sell 11 units. That means they're going to make $10 off of each unit. Is that correct? No, they're going to make $3 off of each unit, so they're going to make 11 times $3 in profit. Pretty cool. However, what's firm 1 going to do? What is firm 1's best response to firm 2 paying $4? Think it through. What should firm 1 do? If you said firm 1 should set their price to $3, I'm going to say that you're not probably the best Bertrand competitor, because you could set your price to $3.99 and make almost a whole extra dollar per unit. So let's say firm 1 sets their price to $3.99. What's firm 2 going to do? They're going to set their price to $3.98. Then what's firm 1 going to do? $3.97. So when does this all stop? They're going to keep undercutting each other incrementally, but when does it stop? Well, let's assume for a second that firm 1 has set their price to $1. What's firm 2 going to do? They could set the price to 99 cents, but then they're going to lose a penny per unit. They don't want to do that. They could set their price to $1, but then they make 0 profit. They can set their price to $1.01. They also make 0 profit. Basically, if we have Bertrand competition, the result is going to be, if they have the same marginal cost, they're going to keep reducing the price that they are offering it to undercut each other until the resulting price is the marginal cost of the 2 firms. In this case, it will result exactly as in perfectly competitive markets. Parting shot, cadet break. Here for a second, work it through when we have 2 firms with different marginal costs. Think through what firms should do in each case. Let me know how you do. Thanks so much. See you next time.